Hey guys, I finished reading Krieg, a Depth's Corpse novel. I finished reading it start to finish. Read the whole thing. It's a pretty quick read. It's a really short book. It's not even 300 pages. It's like yeah, 287. So not even 300 pages. Most books are 340, 400 pages around there. So it's a little bit shorter than most books. And it also costs more. Brutal Cunning was 15 and this was 20, I think, or 20, 25, or well, it says 16 there, but I think on the website I bought it off of, it was 20. But anyways, um enough about that. What do I think of the book? So first off, it's an origin story of the Death Corpse of Krieg. They're really popular in Unification, and they are getting a rework in Unification, so pretty exciting news. And this is the origin story of Death Corpse of Krieg. And as someone who didn't like Death Corpse of Krieg, I read the book, and now I really like them. They're really, really cool. Uh, I will tell you, after reading the book, they're not relatable. Like most characters you can relate with, you can be like, oh, I've been there, done that. These characters in this book you can't really relate to. Uh, but if you want a action book, this is an action book from start to finish. It's actually two stories in one. So the first story is actually about the Octavius War, the war between the orcs and the Tyranids, and the Krieg fight off some orcs and in a big fight, and the Cadians are there too. So the Cadians and Death Corps of Krieg are fighting the orcs during the Octavius War. The second story in this book is the origin story, which is the civil war between Jurten and the chairman. Now, I would tell you what happens in the book, but the book really is action from it's action start to finish. So it's pretty much impossible to talk about the book without spoiling it. If I talk about any of the action scenes, uh, those are just big spoilers. So I will tell you about Krieg. It's a siege war, so they have these Earthshaker cannons. So they use these Earthshaker cannons against the orcs. And what did I think of this book? I thought it was really, really good, but there is a point in the book where they stop holding back and just start committing war crimes like left and right, like every day. So that is something you need to know. Um, there's a lot of controversial stuff in this book, and I know it's Warhammer, and controversial is like an everyday. I know controversial stuff in Warhammer is nothing new. Pretty much every book has something controversial in it. But this book here, I had to stop reading it a couple times. I had to stop reading it a couple times because the war crimes that happened in this book uh, was pretty hard to swallow. Uh, so basically, it's one hive city controlled by Urine versus like five hive cities controlled by the chairman. So it's one hive city fight five hive cities. And it's a really interesting story. It's a really good story. Jurgen is super cool. The Death Corps of Krieg are super cool. And it is an origin story about them. So if you like Death Corps of Krieg, I recommend you pick it up. But I will say, because the characters are not relatable, and because of all the controversial stuff that happens in this book, I actually can't recommend it to everyone because this was a book that I had a hard time reading with all the war crimes and stuff. So this was a tough book for me to read. They really just don't hold anything back. Uh, I will say it's a masterpiece of a book. Uh, it's the shortest book I read, and they managed to fit 2 stories in one, and they managed to fit an entire. They managed to fit in an entire siege fight with the orcs, and they managed to fight and they managed to fit in. There's an entire origin story in this book, so it's the shortest book I read, but there's 2 complete stories in this book, and there's even 2 bonus stories at the end. And the Civil War is definitely the highlight of the book between Yurton and the chairman. So if you want to see the 500-year Civil War, it's pretty intense and it's pretty fun to read. One nice thing about this book is a lot of the unification stuff is in here, like Ragnaroks and the Death Riders. So if you want to see some Death Riders in action, a lot of action in this. I will say another thing about this book. This is probably one of the most realistic. This is probably one of the most realistic Warhammer books. There's no Space Marines. There's no like rituals or anything like that. This is probably one of the most realistic space. This is one of the most realistic Warhammer books. So if you're looking for sci-fi and magic and stuff, this is not the one. If you're looking for a very realistic war book where they really just don't hold anything back, this is the book for you. I do think Death Corps Krieg is a lot cooler now after reading this, and I do think Yurton's a very cool character. And I might be saying his name wrong, but I think it's Yurton. And yeah. So if you like Death Corps Krieg, I'd pick it up. If you like hardcore war books, this is a good read. If you want to see an orc fight, there's an orc fight in this. But if you're looking for more sci-fi, lasers and magic and voodoo and demons, if you're looking for like demons and voodoo and stuff like that, this has none of it. There's no voodoo in this book. So if you're looking for sci-fi, crazy sci-fi stuff, this is not the one. If you're looking for hardcore, realistic, grounded, trench warfare, this is the book for you. And yeah, I think that's it. I really just cannot talk about any of the action scenes without spoiling major events. There's 2 Inquisitors in this book, and those 2 Inquisitors do a lot. They're on the front lines, and they end up helping a lot. Yeah, and I think that's it for the book review. I do have 2 more things to talk about. So the first thing is, I've been playing a lot of Cookie Clicker. This is completely unrelated to Warhammer, but I've been playing a lot of Cookie Clicker, and that's one reason I've been pretty late with videos. It's one reason I haven't made a lot of videos, is because I've been playing a lot of Cookie Clicker. So this is my Cookie Clicker progress. That, what I just showed you, was like 3 weeks of work. So that was 3 weeks of work there. And the second thing I had to announce is I actually ran out of computer space downloading mods. And because I ran out of computer space, I'm going to struggle putting out videos now, because I actually don't have enough room in my computer to record stuff. So I might actually have to go in my computer and delete some mods just so I can record some videos. So yeah, I think the amount of videos I'll be making will slow down quite a bit because I just ran out of computer space. And I'm not going to go out and increase my computer space. I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I enjoyed the book. If you're sensitive, I just would straight up not recommend it. If you're sensitive, this is a book that it's. I had to put this book down a few times because of all the stuff that happened in it. Uh, I did finish it though. I will say the ending of this book was pretty anticlimactic, but it's a good book. It's a masterpiece of a book. Just the amount of stuff they got done, and there's like 3 stories in this book, and it's the shortest book I read. So I would say it's a masterpiece just because of that. Um, One weird thing is this guy here is green, but in the book, I believe I'm pretty sure they say blue, which is weird. So this guy here is wearing all green, but I think in the book it's supposed to be blue. So that's just one thing I noticed. And yeah, I think that's gonna do it. I would talk about the action. I would talk about the action scenes, but I just can't without spoiling it. If you want spoilers, let me know. And thanks for watching. Bye.